Hey people, one question I get asked a lot on social media and from my students as well is, when can I start playing in a band? And I think that's a very interesting question because nobody is stopping you from playing in a band right away. Just imagine you want to pick up soccer and then your trainer is telling you, okay, you need to learn these techniques first and you need to learn about tactics and you need to analyze important games from the history of this sport, and maybe in 3 years you can play your first game. That really doesn't work, right? You want to play right away, and you can and you should. But there is a dialogue between playing and practicing. And in this video I want to show you why you can start playing music with others right away. The main reason is, if you want to do something, just do it right away, and if you face problems, then you can stop, analyze the problem and practice. So just find some people that are roughly at your skill level, or if you're very ambitious, a little bit above your skill level, and just start playing with them. Just form a band or just play for fun every once in a while. And whenever you face a problem, you can't play anything you want to play, then you know what you have to practice. So playing music informs your practice routine. And please, don't listen to anybody who tells you you need to learn this or that first before you can play in a band. Among drummers, there's always this, you just need sticks and a pad and rudiments, and after 2 years you can start playing music. This is such nonsense, because rudiments are important for drummers to know, and they are very good technique wise to practice your technique, but they are not a prerequisite to play music. I mean, there are tons of drummers who never practice their rudiments but are great musicians and have played in famous bands. That is not to say that there aren't important basics to know on your instrument, but here's the thing. If you play music right away, you analyze and you reflect whenever you can't execute something you have in your mind, then you go practice that. And this way, over time, you will practice all the important basics you need for the music you want to play. Of course, you should do this in a very informed manner, maybe with a teacher, so that you have somebody to ask when you face a problem, somebody to help you what to practice and how to practice it. And of course, you can do both things. You can play music and practice what you need to play the music better, and at the same time, you can learn very systematically. You can practice your basics, your rudiments, your scales, whatever, maybe with a book or together with a teacher. And this way, both approaches inform each other, and you make your practice more deliberate. You have more sense, more motivation in your practice, and all these basics will of course help you to play music better. And of course, on some instruments there are special things you need to know before playing with others, especially on the bass guitar and on the drums, because of course you can practice to play alongs, but that's very easy for the singers and for the guitar players because they usually follow the bass player and the drummer. But if you have to provide the foundation for the other musicians, it's very hard to practice to play alongs because you follow the play along, but when you play in a band, the others will follow you. So you should just be aware of this fact and be prepared, but there is no substitute for the real experience. You need to go in this situation and just experience how it is. And over time, you will gain more confidence and more experience. And of course, we have this idea that after a few years of playing, we are better prepared and we have more confidence when we play with others. But trust me, even if you play for 5 years, when you go to an audition for a band, you will be nervous, no matter how long you have played your instrument, because it's still a first time. So do it as soon as possible, and you will notice what special skills you need to play in a band. And there's nothing that can substitute this process and this experience. Of course, if you are a classical musician, if you play piano or violin, for example, then things are a little different. I'm talking here about pop, rock, jazz music, contemporary music, because oftentimes the famous bands, famous musicians in this genre or in these genres have learned their instrument through playing music, just by playing with others, and some have even learned the instruments just for playing in a band. There are some famous examples of musicians who picked up their instrument only to be able to play in a band. So the idea of music and playing in a band came first. And they only learned the techniques when they had a musical idea in their heads and they wanted to get them out there. And they asked themselves, how can I get the sound I have in my head? How can I process this through my instrument? And this way they discovered sometimes even new techniques on their instruments. And yes, as I said, you need to jump into the cold water at some point. Nothing can substitute this experience of really playing with others. But you don't need to be harsh to yourself. I know that some people don't like to jump into the cold water right away. They want to learn a little bit more systematically. Maybe you are a little bit more introvert, and that's totally fine. But you still want to play music, except for play-alongs, of course. You have the possibility of picking a special book or video series or lessons for playing in a band, because there are band programs, there are special teachers who prepare you for playing in a band or actually teach bands how to play together better. But in the end, just find somebody who is also learning and just ask them if you want to play music together. And then in the best case, you have a respectful atmosphere and you support each other. And jumping into the cold water is much easier if you have somebody to hold your hand and to jump with you. And I just wish that you don't listen to people who tell you that you need to learn this or that in order to play in a band someday, that you need this or that. I wish you that you experience the amazing feeling of locking in with somebody physically and mentally and almost spiritually, I'm tempted to say, to just have this amazing feeling of doing something with your instrument that results in actual music that people listen to, people dance to. That's so amazing. And I don't want to tell you that you need to play in a band right away, but that you can if you want to. Of course, for some people, the idea of someday playing in a band is a great motivation. It's a far-off goal, and this brings them to practice more effectively. And I myself, I like to practice, and I like this far-off idea that gave me the motivation to go into this process, which I actually enjoyed. I enjoy practicing my rudiments, but I know not everybody does. So don't listen to anybody who tells you that you need to. You can play music right away. And there's another great effect, by the way. If you play music right away, and if you know what kind of music you want to play, then you not only practice all the important basics you need whenever you face a problem, then you practice only the things you need for that style of music, but also you know what you don't need. Because we see and hear so many things all day on social media. There are so many great things we want to practice and we should practice, people tell us. And when you play the music, the style of music you want to play, you know what's important for that. And you can say, no, thank you, I actually don't need that. And that's very, very liberating. And what's also very liberating is just experiencing that you can actually play music right away. Just a week ago, I gave a workshop for all my Patreon supporters, and we played on instruments, sometimes on instruments that we don't even know, that we don't even actually play. but some people were on their instruments and had never improvised before, and we were a huge band, and many people told me that it was a great experience just to experience that, to be able to play. And that is a very important thing for your mindset, to see yourself as a person who not only practices this instrument, but can also play music. I hope this video helped you. If so, please give it a thumbs up and let me know in the comments. And if you want to see more videos all about, sometimes on drumming, but mostly about effective practicing, motivation, and personal growth through learning an instrument, then you should definitely subscribe. Also hit the bell symbol, because every Thursday there's a new video and you don't want to miss one. And if you want to support this channel even more, get something from me in return, and maybe join us at next year's Patreon workshop, then please consider supporting me on Patreon. The link is in the description. I will see you in the next video next Thursday. Until then, take care and bye bye.